Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jerred Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe? And welcome back to an interview.
How's it going? Feels good to be back in my space and talking to people.
Yeah. How hot is it in Bahrain right now?
I can tell you right now, when I worked out today, it was 110.
110.
Outside. I worked out outside too. 113 right now. So, you know.
It feels like temperature for Joe the other day was like 147. I can't fathom it. But let's get away from Joe, because the more important person here, Eric Reeder, man, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Welcome to the show, and awesome shirt. You have the Daily Over Decades shirt right there.
Oh, hey.
That's great, man.
It's one of the most comfortable shirts that I own. So I appreciate you guys putting it out there.
We didn't even tell him to say that, and so there you go. And he got the mug.
It'll take 10 more.
This is going to be a great interview. But
can we say hashtag sponsor? on this
we are sponsoring it. All right, Eric, let's go straight to you, man. Who you are, what you do, how you train, where you're from, all the good details.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm Eric. I'm 30. I'm a father of 3. So I have twin 4-year-olds and a 1-year-old. That's made for an interesting last few years.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm from Bay City, Michigan originally. And I'm actually back in Michigan. I'm an active duty Army officer, and we got a chance to go back to graduate school. So we're at the University of Michigan, about to head into my second year of grad school.
Very cool.
In applied statistics. And so we're just living outside of Ann Arbor, and then we'll head to New York after that. I've been training. Go ahead, Joe.
It's kind of a similar situation that we have. So my wife's Navy officer, and then part of her career progression, they're sending her to get her MBA as well, which after Bahrain, that's what we're going to go do in Monterey. So it's definitely pretty awesome. Yeah.
It's one of the best opportunities that I've had, this far in my career. And it's just, it's so nice to take that pause from the military and just kind of be a civilian for a little bit. So
yeah, free school, and you get paid for it, right?
Yeah,
you get paid to go to school. It's like the best situation imaginable.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've been training with GGA for 4.5 months now. So I think I started right after the fit week in March, and so I've only done one fit week so far. But really loving it. Been on Hard to Kill this last cycle. Started on Shred and liked it. Went to the Murph track for May, and then switched over to Hard to Kill after that, and been with Hard to Kill ever since.
Awesome, man. Well, we're glad to have you on that Hard to Kill track.
How'd you feel on the burner? Because I did that too.
I like the burner. I've been trying to work on pull-ups lately. Pull-ups have always been a weakness of mine, and still are. And I really liked how many pull-ups were incorporated into the burner track. But those air squats just killed. And between those 800 intervals and the air squats, and it was just
the air squats before the 800 intervals. Yeah, it's good days. Those are the days where I'm like, okay, cool. We got squats, air squats, and running today. This shouldn't be that bad. And it's probably like the worst days.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And if anyone's looking to do the Murph burner track, you can't, because it got burned. maybe next year or version 2. I love that we decided to do that. Such a good business decision too.
Yeah.
You want to buy this thing? You can't do it. Well, Eric, what is your current training situation? Where are you training? Your setup? what is that right now for you?
Yeah, I'm out of my garage, and outside when the weather's nice enough in Michigan. And I kind of went all out when I started. So I got the bumper plates. Now I got this at the beginning of the pandemic. And I had always known when I went to grad school, not doing organized PT with the Army, that I was going to build the garage gym. And as soon as I move in March of 2020, or everything, nothing was in stock, and it was kind of a worse time to move, knowing I was already going to do this. So I eventually went through Titan Fitness for most of my stuff. I have a Rogue foldable rack that I really like. You don't really fold it in that much, but it is nice to have. I've got 300 pounds of bumper plates, a rower, kettlebells, the mats, the rest of the stuff, wall ball target, which I think we should incorporate some more wall balls into the programming, gents.
We should. Actually,
but yeah,
I think I programmed them in the next wave, and then I took them out. And now I'll add them back just because you told me to.
I know not everyone has that, so it's nice to have.
Yeah, and my garage got shorter, so I stopped programming them. No, I'm just kidding. That's
yeah.
Joe always gives me a hard time for that kind of stuff. Awesome, man. So you have basically everything. You bought it right at the start of the pandemic. And what was the big reason for that? You kind of mentioned not being in organized PT anymore. Was it just something you knew you were going to have to do, or you're not a big fan of the gym? Because I'm sure you could work out on campus, right?
Yeah. They have a free campus gym. We're about 30 minutes out, but I always kind of knew I wanted to do this. I made a career move after grad school. We're going to teach at West Point after that, and so same thing. You're kind of on your own for working out, and then even after that, I'll be in a job that'll probably have me working out on my own. So I kind of was like, it's a good time to invest. I never could justify going to the gym too much and pulling myself away from family like many of the guys here. So I wanted to have something that I could have a flexible schedule with. And I really like it so far. I mean, it's been really nice to, not have to deal with equipment lines and stuff like that.
That's great. And what are some of your goals right now?
So I don't have many specifics. I just want to stay generally healthy, keep active for the Army, stuff like that. But I think one of my long-term goals is, besides the pull-ups, like I mentioned, is just staying healthy, preventing injury, and being able to be mobile, throughout my life, and being able to play with my grandkids and stuff like that. So I had a battalion commander who said, when I get older, I don't want to watch my grandkids. I want to play with them. And that's been really my motivating factor for doing more than just the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the 2-mile run here.
Yeah. And so have you taken the new Army PT test yet?
I haven't. I left Fort Eustis, Virginia, in 2020 with the Army boats, and never took it when I was there. And then in grad school, you're kind of hands off in grad school, so I haven't taken it yet. But it was one of the reasons that I did the barbell and stuff like that, and getting more weight training too.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the test? Do you like it better or less than what you guys had before?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it comes with logistical hurdles. I fully understand that. But I always said that, as a company commander down there, you see so many people just train to the test. They do their morning PT, and then if they do anything outside of it, they're just training to the test. And if you created events where they're at least somewhat more functionally, fitness oriented, and they're training to the test by doing knees to elbows and some hex bar deadlifts, then they're going to be generally more fit of a population. And so I like it for that reason. I think, 1 point higher on the test versus not, I think that's kind of out the window. But if you do well on the test, then you can say I'm generally in shape.
Yeah, I thought it was a very bold move by the Army to include a deadlift. Just like you're saying, logistics of it, young soldiers trying, all testosterone and no sleep type, it's just, but I'm sure that they'll work it out, and ultimately will be better for all the soldiers involved. So I think it's awesome. And as it rolls out more and more, can't wait to get more feedback from people who are still active duty.
Yeah, and they still kept that 2 mile run though. That was
Yeah,
that
that's
was
still
about
there.
Not getting away from it.
Yeah, I thought when I first heard, I was like, oh, cool, they got rid of that, and it's like, no, they didn't.
See, Air Force is going to have the option of, instead of the 1.5 miles, you can do the beep test. Basically, it's the beep test, which is interesting.
What is so like death by 10 meter?
It's similar, yeah.
Yeah. So we already have a workout for prep all you Air Force people out there. And so tell us a little bit more about your background, fitness related, man, as far back as needed. Like knowing I'm going to start a garage gym, it's kind of what you said. Like that's quite a statement. So I'm assuming you've been into fitness for a while, but tell me about your journey so far through fitness.
Yeah, I've never been the most in shape person in my life. I was probably my most fit a freshman in high school. I was doing football. That's when I got into like lifting and stuff. But I left football and played soccer for many years after that. And so I've on and off lifted my life, but I've never really, been into it for any considerate amount of time. So after high school, some high school sports, went to West Point. You were kind of on your own for fitness there. A lot of people are surprised about that. If you're not doing well, then they're going to do some remedial PT, but you're kind of on your own. And so I did some programming for myself, and I just defaulted to what I knew. Monday was, chest and triceps and you kind of just get the same routine over and over. Went to Fort Riley, and as a lieutenant, just did Army PT, didn't really lift. And then on both of my deployments, I went to Kuwait and of course lost 30 pounds and, was in the gym every day, got back, gained 20 pounds and wasn't in the gym every day. And then on my second deployment to Poland, I did the same thing. But more specifically to your question, when I got back from Kuwait, my wife had joined Beachbody and in particular 21-day fix she was doing. And that was like a pivotal moment for us in our relationship and just in our fitness journey, because we became more consistent with our workouts. Mm-hmm. And I think like companies like Beachbody are great for that they can really get you on that consistency train and get that motivation to work out. But so we did that. And then when I got to Fort Eustis, sorry, I know I'm kind of bouncing around here. In 2017, I had a battalion commander who was into functional fitness, and he had outfitted our battalion gym with bumper plates and pull-up bars, pretty much the works, and rowers. And so that was where I got into functional fitness. And so ever since then, and him doing workouts, CrossFit inspired workouts, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to go about it. So that was where the turning point was. But then when I was in command, so I went to Poland, got back and took command in the last 2 years before I moved back to Michigan. I wasn't in the gym at all, because you're in command, you're PTing with your soldiers. I had young twins. It was just really tough. So I've been on and off, in a gym, out of a gym, that type of stuff. And now this has been the most consistent I've been, has been over the last year. And then obviously the last 4 months with GGA.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's a journey. And I'm sure twins, obviously I've never had twins, but I have kids, and twins sounds like it would be a challenge, and so I could see why fitness could slip out there. And I like the point you brought up about the pivotal moment with your wife. I think that's a really big deal, because I feel like a lot of people, maybe if they're not into that much into fitness, or they're not that into nutrition, and you just kind of have like the status quo in a relationship, it does kind of take one person being like, I'm going to do this. Like you want to do it too. And then you can be those people together. And I've seen it happen in a lot of relationships. And I think it's a really good thing, because everyone knows they should be doing it and they kind of want to, but it takes someone else being like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then you guys can kind of feed off of each other. So I think that's a really great point that you brought up, and I think it's really awesome. Your wife kind of kickstarted that.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's still doing it to today, doing the different Beachbody programs, and she just loves it. So
That's awesome, man. Well, when she's ready, just let her know.
I've been trying.
Well, yeah, well, we'll just rename our programs. I bet we'll get her in here. All right, man. Well, let's get into some of these other questions. What's the hardest workout you've ever done?
So I think like some other people have said on here before, some of the shorter, more intense ones are their hardest, not the longest necessarily. I would say they're CrossFit inspired, but they were in that pivotal moment where I first learned about, these functional fitness workouts. But the ones that put me on the floor were Fight Gone Bad. That was just that's just a brutal one, and there's no way to get around the work unless you just don't do it. And if, for those that aren't familiar, it's only 15 minutes of work, but it's just constant. And then It's a Trap. Are you familiar with It's a Trap?
No.
And it might go by different names
from Star Wars. That's about it.
It might go by different names, but I'm sure you guys have done something like this. But essentially, you pick a number, but this one is 100 burpees. But every 2 minutes, on the 2 minute, you get up and you run 200 meters, and you only have the remaining time to do the burpees before the next 2 minute clock goes off.
Right.
And so it's really mental, and it plays tricks with you on how many burpees do I do? Do I rest at all? How quick do I run? And it can be they say it's a trap because some people just are constantly running and they're getting 2 burpees in and then running. So
writing that down.
Well, we got to do these things. I need to pre-interview some people and say, hey man, let me hear your workout first. And then I'll allow you to say it.
That's a good one.
Oh,
well, it's kind of got that Cal Su format where.
Yeah, Kalsu is always my worst workout. It's always
you just always kind of get screwed because of that time runs out. That's where the It's a Trap name comes from, because I'm sure the first 2 to 3 rounds you're like, okay, it's not, maybe just 2, honestly. You're like, not so bad, and then after that you're like, okay, I'm basically running. I'm just running and sucking wind in between the runs, and I can barely do any burpees. So I think that's awesome.
It's a crap.
Is Kalsu every minute? What is it? Is it every minute?
Yeah, for the burpees, it's every minute 5.
So it's
5 burpees every minute.
It's to 100 thrusters, and you have to do 5 burpees every minute on the minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So similar format. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Well, that's brutal. I can't wait for the rest of the community to try a version of that. That might be.
Everybody thank Eric.
New Meet Yourself Saturday coming your way.
And that only takes about 10 rounds or 20 minutes, Jerred. So if you want to up those burpees, you might, to make it a true Meet Yourself Saturday.
I think 250 would be a great number for that. I ran a marathon trying to do 250 burpees.
We'll protest.
All right, man. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
A lot of people said it, but I think just finding a routine. I had a boss that said, and he was speaking on units, of course, but then you can apply this to people, but good units do routine things routinely. And so I'm guilty of it now, but if you don't make excuses and you get over that mental hump of just doing things consistently, it becomes easier. And then if you're doing things routinely, then you know that you're having success in whatever you're doing. So
that's great. All right. If you don't have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Rower. I think you can find weight in anything. You get a milk jug, you can find some weight. You can find a lot of different things, but as you get older and your body breaks down and you can't run anymore because your knees, and you can't go outside to bike, you can just row all day.
That's awesome.
So what would be one piece of equipment that you would want to add to your gym?
I think the next one's going to be some version of the air bike. I know a lot of people say that. Space determinant, of course, but and I don't know if it's going to be Rogue or the Airdyne or whatnot, but I don't have one, and they just I've been on them before, and they just completely break you down if you sprint on them. So
100%.
Yeah, I gave mine away at the start of the pandemic to a friend who needed some fitness equipment, and now I don't have an air bike, and I really want an air bike, but I think Emily has kind of put a stop to garage gym purchases for now. I've upgraded a lot, but how do you justify two fan bikes, just bouncing it off of you guys? I already have
You both can ride them at the same time.
Like, how do I explain that I need the Concept 2 bike erg, but I also need an Airdyne? Like, what strategy do you guys have for this?
I say you both ride them at the same time, Ken.
So, like, couples, like, make it a couples
competition.
thing?
Yeah, competition.
Okay. I'll try it out.
When other people like me and Kyle and Ashley come to visit,
there we go.
Your brother works out with you.
That's true. Yeah. I've been putting a lot of stuff on him lately, excuse-wise, for purchases. All right. Thanks, gentlemen. All right, Eric, what is your best advice for all the garage gym athletes out there right now?
So kind of building on this routine thing, you have the power, especially for the newer people and people like me who maybe, nutrition is my downfall. It always has been. You have the power to form and break habits, both good and bad. Whether you're currently in a habit that you want to get out of or you want to start a habit. And I learned this from my Beachbody days, it only takes 21 days to form a habit. So if you can stick it out for those first few weeks, then it's almost ingrained in your body. And you see that with working out with, when you start your fitness journey, if you can remember that, working out was a chore. And now it actually hurts your body or hurts your mind more if you miss a couple days in a row. Mm-hmm. And so, just build those habits.
That's awesome. Well, Eric, I do appreciate you jumping on with us and, for being consistent in training, for supporting us. You got the shirt, the mug, you're part of the programming. We really do appreciate it. It's people like you who make the community what it is. So thanks for everything, man. And thanks for sharing your time with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It was really appreciate it.
Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Thanks for listening.